Week 2 with return of the food noise and the hunger and no Mounjaro. If you're wondering about maintenance after using a GLP-1 medication, this is the video for you. Hello, lovely people. I'll do it at the beginning. If you haven't, please do like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. And something like 75% of the people who watch me are not subscribed. So if you could and you would like to, please do subscribe and like and leave a comment below. So this video is just going to be a really quick weekly update. I don't usually post on a Saturday, but I wanted to let you all know how this week has gone. So in my last video, I talked about the return of the food voice and the hunger and the fact that actually I made an impromptu decision to stop using Mounjaro on the basis that those side effects had returned. So for me, the Mounjaro had taken away the food voice, it had taken away the hunger, and I was able to focus on nutrition, and I've now lost over 150 pounds. So I'm at well below my maintenance weight. So in terms of how I've been getting on and what food has looked like this week and those sort of side effects, this is what I'm going to cover. So with regards to symptoms, as I said, the food voice and the hunger returned. They are still, now I know that I will still have an element of Mounjaro in my system at this point because that's how the GLP-1 medication works. It's a build-up medication, so you build it up in your system and it takes some time to come out of your system. But I have been on this lowest dose 2.5 for a number of weeks now, and the food voice and the hunger had returned some time ago. So this is week 2 without using the medication, and the food voice and the hunger the food voice is there. I think because I'm at maintenance, I am eating to effectively what I'm burning. And I'm doing quite a lot of steps at the moment because I'm doing the 500,000 in January challenge, which is an aim to do 500,000 steps over the course of January, which works out on average, divided over the 31 days, about 16,500 steps. So quick update on that. I have to date done 170,000 steps. So I've just got to work out the final amount of steps over the remaining days in January. So I actually think I can do less than the 16,000 steps at this point, but I will work that out and I'll update you on that. So I'm doing a high level of exercise. I haven't returned to the gym yet in January, which is something that I will do at some point. I just haven't. But I'm basically eating to my calories. So I work out using my steps and my BMR, rough guidance of what I need to eat. And averagely, I'm eating between about 1,800 and 2,300 calories a day. And I'm trying to have a good balance of fibre and protein. And we all know about fibre and protein, but that's what I'm trying to do, and making sure that I'm eating, veg and fruit and so on. And I'm doing pretty well. In terms of the hunger, because I'm still eating quite a lot, I am hungry and I could continue to eat. So how I'm managing it is my body doesn't do intuitive eating. It's never done intuitive eating. And without a GLP-1 medication, it's not going to do intuitive eating. So I am simply eating and then I am stopping. So when I've finished what I'm eating, I'm not eating anymore until I come to the next time that I eat. That's working quite well for me at the moment. Yes, I'm hungry, but I also know that I'm not really hungry. I know that my body has eaten. This is what the mind side does. To say that I'm fixed, I'm not. This is going to be something I always have to work on, and at the moment I'm doing okay with it. The food voice is there, and I noticed that it's the things like not being able to let things go and that FOMO, that fear of missing out around food. So my other half brought some ice creams. Ice creams I don't actually even like the crunchy ice creams. He's brought some of those and he brought some chocolate, and I just have not been able to forget about it. I actually haven't had an ice cream, but I did have one of the chocolate bars. And previously, if I was eating a chocolate bar, say when I was using Mounjaro, I might not even finish it all. It could be in the cupboard for months and I wouldn't necessarily want it. But let's just say I did have it. I might not finish it all, or I would finish it all and I would feel like that was sickly. I'm done now. As I was eating this chocolate bar, I was thinking, I know there's more chocolate. I know there's ice creams. And I had to be like, you know they're there, but you're not going to have them. And I have continued to think about them, and that's the impact of the food voice, isn't it? So that is there. I just, at the moment, I'm just eating to my calories, and I know that the food voice is always going to be there without a medication. But it was there with the medication, and that's the difference. I'm not trying to preach that, oh, you know, come off, like, everyone's got to do what they've got to do. And I had a plan to remain on the medication, and I'm not a snob about it. If I need to, I will remain on it. But at the lower dose of 2.5, and actually even the 5, the food voice and the hunger was still there. So my thinking around that is, if those symptoms that effectively were why I was buying the medication and using it have returned, what's the point? And I, at the minute, cannot afford to go on to one of the higher doses. So I'm just going to have to do this as it is. And I'm managing it. I am managing it. And that's not to say that food is preoccupying every day. It isn't. Like, it's not constantly on my mind. I am able to do things outside of it, which perhaps before I wasn't. It's a bit like smoking. I've been told by people that, you know, smoke, that they plan their activities and where they go around, are they able to have a cigarette? And that's a bit like how I used to manage food. Can I eat? What's available to eat? Would there be somewhere that I can eat? So it isn't like that. I'm just aware that it's there. And as I said, it's that temptation. It's that wanting to constantly give in to what it wants to eat. That's the difficulty. But I watched a video, was it Karen's GLP-1? You know, I'm so rubbish with names. I can't even always name my own kids. I'm like, which one are you? I will link, it's definitely, her name's Karen. I just can't remember if it's GLP-1 Journey. I will link her channel below, but she did a video, and it's similar to what I've talked about previously. She's basically saying that if you if you use a GLP-1 medication and don't make any changes, your weight loss is unlikely to be sustainable. And like any weight loss plan, because she'd watched something on the BBC, which I'm going to try and find, where it basically said, if you stop using a GLP-1 medication, you'll regain all of your weight. And that's pretty much, they did a study years ago, it was on Channel 4, about, was The Biggest Loser, and then other weight losses like Slimming World and Weight Watchers, and the rates of people regaining that weight. So it's not just around GLP-1 medication, it's around most diet and fads. I say fad, it's probably not the right word, but so I'll find that. But she was basically saying, if you don't make any changes, your weight loss is unlikely to be long term if you come off of the medication. And absolutely, that's right. I've made a huge amount of changes, and a lot of people have made a huge amount of changes. And I am now having to pull up my big girl pants and put those changes into action without the medication. And of course it's harder, because that's why I use the medication in the first place, but I am managing it. So for anyone that perhaps is having to come off of the medication or is thinking about coming off of the medication, in my experience, and it is only my experience, at the minute it is achievable. I just have to work at it, and it is work. Unfortunately, it's not, I've not been fixed. I'm not magically fixed. It is work, but it's work that I'm able to do it. And that's partly because I know I've now living the benefits of being lower than my target weight, and I want to keep those benefits up. It's absolutely worth working for. But I'm very, very early days in, and I'm completely aware that I'm very, very early days in, but I do want to let people know that I am managing it, and therefore if I'm managing it, I'm sure other people will be able to manage it, but it isn't easy. But I don't think being at maintenance is easy. And I talked about that in a previous video. I actually have found maintenance, even with a higher dose of medication, harder than I anticipated I would. And I think part of that is because I never actually thought about the maintenance journey. I just thought about all the pluses of it, not the fact that once you got there, you still had to work to sustain it. So in terms of weight this week, I have weighed myself, but purely for the purpose of this video. I'm not, at this point, I sort of feel when I've gained weight, and I feel if it's too much, like a few weeks ago when I gained half a stone, I'm a bit uncomfortable. In terms of my weight, I'm still 10 stone 4 as of this morning. I don't know what that is in kilograms. I think it's 144 pounds, but I'll try and work out. I won't work out. I'll go on Google and let Google work out what the kilograms are, and I'll put that in there for people that use kilograms. Yeah, I feel okay about that. I'm not looking to lose weight. I'm going to give myself a cushion. The body fluctuates. I'm going to give myself a cushion of a few pounds either way. Probably higher end. I'd probably give myself a good £5 fluctuation going up, because my target weight was never this low. So yeah, I'm now comfortably fitting in a size 10, which I'm absolutely not moaning about. Love that. It's like morning when I release this, but do a shot for every time I say no, don't do that. You get the point. So it's really just concentrating on my steps and keeping the eating when I'm done eating, because my body says to me, my brain says to me, oh, but you're still hungry. So I can eat a meal and my brain says to me, let's for example, I can eat steak, jacket potato and salad. That's a huge meal. That's filling. Actually, a lot of the times not been able to finish that. I could eat that whole meal and my brain would go, what's next? Oh, you've had something savoury now, you need something sweet. Like, that is how my brain, so I just have to go, no, I've eaten, and then go and find something to occupy myself, because otherwise my brain will just keep telling me you're hungry, and I'm not hungry because I've just eaten. So it's that conditioning that I think I just have to get used to and work around. But yeah, week 2, so far so good. It's going well. The whole science of BMR calories to what I'm burning using my steps and then to eat into that is working quite well. As I said, this week averagely I've been eating between 1,800 and 2,300 calories, and that sounds like I'm preoccupied with figures all day. I literally spend less than 20 minutes working out what I need to eat and what I am eating. I use my FitnessPal. I've screenshotted my BMR figures, and I use my Apple Watch and the trackers of the steps on that to work out whether I'm moderately active or, so on. Literally spend less than 20 minutes doing it. 20 minutes is probably on the higher end, actually. It's not preoccupying my time. I've got really used to doing it, and it's working well for me. So yeah, week 2, no Mounjaro. It's manageable. And it isn't all consuming. I'm not miserable. I'm really, really not miserable. I'm just having to work at it a little bit, but then I was having to work at maintenance anyway when I was on a higher dose of medication. So yeah, it is absolutely achievable. If anybody's got any questions, please do put them below. And if you can, please do like and subscribe and think about sharing the video. It really helps the channel. And yeah, there's some interesting stuff coming up, but equally there's other stuff going on around work and so on that means I'm able at the minute to spend a bit more time dedicated to this channel. So on something called YouTube Studio, it says that 75% of the people who watch my recurring viewers aren't subscribed. So if you don't mind, please do. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. I'm going to start trying to be more consistent with uploads. So I'll see how this video goes today, and then maybe aim to do a Monday, a Wednesday and a Saturday. But yeah, if you've got anything you would like me to cover, please do let me know, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.